Welcome to the You Can Do Both podcast, episode 3.
Woo!
I'm Court.
I'm Ashley.
And we're so happy to be here round 3.
Imagine it's like round 55 every time. It's Sunday. Court and I went out last night.
We're a little slow this morning, so apologizing in advance.
Yeah, Court brought Starbucks though, and it's saving me.
Yes.
Anyone that is a Starbucks coffee drinker, I'm going to read you my order and you should go try it. Iced quad espresso, splash of almond milk, vanilla sweet cream cold foam, that's the best part. Ask for it in a venti cup, and 3 pumps of toffee nut syrup. Syrups can be exchanged.
Yes, for sure. And I will attest that it is really great. I was telling Ashley before I was coming over that I wanted to pick up coffee, but I really didn't know where to pick it up from because I've just been so disappointed. And I think it's because I try to healthify all my Starbucks orders, but why the hell do I need to do that? If I'm paying $5 or more than that for a coffee,
enjoy the 50 extra calories.
Exactly. So this is my new order. I appreciate the recommendation. It's really great.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't remember how I found it. I feel like somebody posted about a quad espresso, and then I got the Starbucks app like a year ago, and my life has truly changed ever since.
Why? Because you can really customize every which thing.
Because when I have to order this in person, I'm I'm so annoying. I'm so sorry.
Hi, can I get an iced quad espresso with vanilla sweet cream cold foam in a venti cup, light on the almond milk, please, 3 pumps of toffee nut syrup?
Horrible.
God, no.
Joe is mortified every time I do it. I'm like, listen, I'm so sorry. But it's worth it.
Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you really do.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. All right, let's talk about the cool place we went last night.
We tried a brand new spot in the North End. It's new to us, but I also think it's new to the North End.
Yeah.
It's called Witchcraft. How would you explain it, Ash?
It's it gives me cocktail bar vibes. The drinks were really good and well made. They have this cool sign. The music's great. So it's a bar scene, but upscale bar.
Yeah, and it's very Instagrammable. There's a Wicked, which is, if you know Boston, that's an iconic word.
Wicked.
There's a Wicked neon sign that kind of flashes different colors. It's very trendy, but there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, and it's trendy, but not in a chuggy way.
Yeah.
Not to use that word, but.
Yeah, no, but that is exactly how it needs to be described. It's not that. Which is great.
And we were talking to the owners there last night, and they were talking about how they're going to have outdoor space in the summer. Yeah. And it's right at the end of Salem Street. And oh my God, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's very small. So I can imagine it being almost a hard spot to get into if it were to pop off. But it's perfect to sit down, but also bop around to music and kind of dance where you are. And just some cool vibes, something different. And we may or may not have pitched ourselves to the founders.
Really did.
They're not the founders, the owners of the place.
Yeah. Courtney's chatting them up, and then it's. So we have a podcast, and if we were to ever host an event here, it didn't work. They loved it.
They were absolutely, this is my number. This is exactly. No, I feel like they would want clientele similar to us and our friends. So who knows? Maybe our first little soiree getting everyone together will be at this place.
That would seriously be so fun.
Yeah, I was really trying to hype up the podcast last night. I was trying to airdrop to everyone.
Yeah.
And
Did anyone accept?
There were 2 people that accepted. Everyone else declined.
What would you do if somebody? I would listen to it. I'd be like, "What is this? This is so funny."
They were probably it was a weird time of night. I feel like if they clicked on it, they would have clicked right out and not have actually listened eventually. But
yeah, that's true.
Going forward, I will continue to do that in different places.
And my roommate Ciara just gave us a great idea. We're gonna get business cards.
Oh hell yeah!
With a QR code, and we're just gonna hand them out to everybody.
Yeah.
How fun is that?
I love it, and my company can print them.
I used to carry around your business card, and I was waiting for the opportunity to give it to somebody. Yeah, when you got your Vista
that's
ones.
So cute of you.
I did the same with Ciara too. I feel like that's so funny. Anyone who has single friends, tell them to get business cards and then give it to all of your social butterflies, and they're just gonna hand out your business card to people.
Honestly, that's a really great idea.
I know,
we should bring that back. I'll make one. Maybe it's a dating profile, but on
Yeah.
a tangible card. I feel like that's so funny. Are you okay?
No, I need a side table. My hand's getting so cold.
I know. I'm like burying. I actually spilled this coffee like 3 times on my way into her apartment and then once in her room.
Yeah.
And Ashley is not very happy with me right now.
Yeah, you know, at this point, I do expect it. Like, I'm so used to it. In the beginning, so Courtney is very clumsy, for those that don't know.
For no reason.
For no reason. Like, you just spill and drop and stain things and trip the cinder blocks.
Actually,
Wait, describe the cinder block shoes for those who
I feel
don't
like
know.
girls might know exactly what I'm talking about. They were a pair of Steve Madden shoes. They were platform, so there wasn't like a heel to them. And they were like almost bamboo type material. So it literally just looked like a block, and the straps were clear. So if you literally looked from a distance, it looked like I was walking on like legit cinder blocks with like nothing to strap my feet in.
Yeah.
And those were the best shoes I've ever owned.
You wore those things everywhere.
Because they matched everything, because they were so neutral and they were so comfortable.
Yeah, but then you mix the cinder blocks with a clumsy person, and it's just...
And I don't know how I didn't twist my ankle.
I don't know. I have no idea.
By the grace of God, we stayed in one piece.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God.
Yes.
Hi, is there anything else we wanted to catch up on? Oh, tomorrow's President's Day, so for those who have it off, I'm sorry, Courtney. I'm just
Not
so
me.
happy like the Sunday Scaries are not here right now because I have tomorrow off, and it's such a nice feeling having a little long weekend.
Ashley, I am so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support.
I'll be grinding it out, but I will be sending all my love your way.
Thank you. So if you had the day off, I hope you enjoyed your 3-day weekend.
Yes. And should we revisit our focuses of the week from last week?
Oh, yeah.
Give a little update.
Yeah.
My update is I didn't do my focus of the week. So I have yet to take myself on a date. Honestly, it was just a chaotic week because my other focus of the week was letting myself rest and recharge. So that's where the balance comes in. I was able to accomplish one, not the other, but stay tuned because I will be doing that. I'm not letting that go, and more to come.
Yeah, I will say Joe took on your focus of the week.
I fucking love that for him. I forking love that for him.
Yeah, Joe took himself to the movies. He took himself bowling, and he took himself to the casino last night. That man loves spending time alone. And I'm like,
Good for
wow,
him.
I'm jealous. He went to the movies by himself, and I was like mad because that's something I've always wanted to do. I'm like, I'm going to go to the movies by myself. And then he's out here living my dream. I'm like, okay. Yeah, so my focus of the week was to talk to my family a little bit more.
Mhm.
And I did. I called all of them multiple times. Morgan, I FaceTimed, caught up with them. So I feel like I did well.
Were they like, Ashley, why are you calling me right now?
No, I think they take what they can get. They're like, wow, this is great.
Meanwhile, my parents have been listening to the podcast, which scares me a little bit,
Mhm.
depending on the topics that we end up getting into. But as of right now, they're actually doing the daily dares.
So
They're
cute.
starting to incorporate focuses of the week. And my dad's dare for himself yesterday was to get a hot dog.
Honestly, love that.
Yeah. And he did get a hot dog, in fact. And I just think that's so funny. You can do what you want. You can really just take whatever we say and run with it in your own little direction. And
There
it's
you
really
go. Big wins, small wins. Simple as a hot dog.
cute. Exactly.
Anyways, all right. So today's topic is pretty fun.
Red flags and green flags.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite topics because I love talking about dating and everything that can go wrong with it. I feel like we're pretty experienced in the dating scene. I feel like we have a good insight into this.
Totally. And at first we were just going to talk about like our own personal red and green flags, but we ended up putting a Q&A on our Instagram story, and the responses we got were just so amazing and
Yeah.
comical. So I think the way we're going to run this episode is we're just going to read through the answers that a lot of you have kind of shared with us, and then we'll kind of give our own takes, whether we agree or disagree, and like any personal stories we'll kind of follow through that.
Yeah, so if you guys wrote in, thank you so much. We got so many great responses. And thanks for
Yes.
participating.
Yeah, things we never would have thought of too.
Yeah.
So, and this is going to be particular to just like the dating world. We plan on talking about red and green flags and like friendships and other areas of our lives in future episodes, but this specifically will be in reference to dating.
Okay, so for us, we're going to be talking about guys for the most part. We'll try to make it, this obviously applies to everyone,
Yeah.
but don't get mad at us when we say he or something.
Yeah. This can be pertaining to all genders, but
Exactly.
Ash and I are both into the males.
Yes. Unfortunately.
Literally.
First red flag. You're a man.
Yeah.
Literally.
I know.
Okay. I don't even know where to start. Let's see. Okay. First one. Doesn't pay on the first date. Do you agree or disagree with this?
I agree with this. I think the first date just really sets the tone for the remainder of dates to come in the relationship. And even if that is not something that goes on throughout future dates or whatever, it's more so just like the principle and a sign of respect, I think.
I think all men should pay on the first date. There, I'll say it, don't get mad at me, but not because it's not the act of putting your money down. It's the act of, I want to impress you.
Yeah.
Like, you got all dressed up, you did your makeup, you did your hair. Like, what do men have to do? Nothing. They just have to show up. You can pay for the drinks, you know?
No, I agree.
Okay, so going off of this one, if they don't tip well.
Yeah. It's, once again, not the money, but it's more so the principle. And it's like, I respect the people that are serving me and are taking care of this experience and making sure that we have a great time. Yeah, it is just a sign of respect.
Yeah, a lot of my friends have been servers as well, and they always tip more than 20%. I mean, minimally you should be tipping 20%.
Yeah.
That's just the right thing to do, and I think that shows about your character. I'm just going to go into a very quick story time here, but I went on a double date once, and we were at Earl's, so they have like their $5 drink of the month. And so 3 of the people all ordered these $5 drinks.
Yeah.
And then this one guy was ordering Casamigos on the rocks, which is obviously much more than $5.
Of course.
So we all get 2 drinks. He gets 3 Casamigos on the rocks. They let us all split the bill 4 ways. Ew. Horrible. And then this man comes to find out he tipped 15%.
No way.
Yeah. And like we split it evenly. So like we're basically paying for his extra expensive drinks.
What?
And he doesn't even tip 20%.
Ew.
Literally
Canceled.
the biggest ick ever.
Canceled.
Oh my God. Don't ever do that. Okay. No interest in your friends or life. I think this is more about like doesn't ask you questions.
Yeah, that is my number one pet peeve. I've been on dates before where I just kind of let the guy say what he wants to say, and obviously I'm interested in what he has to say and I'm interested about his life, so I'll ask him all these questions, and then just I'm waiting. I'm like, crickets. So do you want to ask me something in return? Like, I've literally said that before.
I don't understand how someone can sit there and talk about themselves and not ask you anything.
No, it makes no sense. Also, like, crickets. It's like,
Yeah.
don't you want to fill the space with something that's the easiest thing? It's like, oh, how about you?
Yeah. And this is a red flag because if you're dating someone, you want to get to know them.
Yeah. So
You're not there to pitch yourself. You
Yeah.
should be only interested in the person,
exactly.
not yourself.
And on the flip side, I've been on dates before where guys have been like, oh my gosh, I don't even, like, I want to focus on you. Like, tell me all about you. And that's just like the best feeling in the world.
Okay, talks about their ex in the beginning stages.
Just why? Like, you're there to get to know someone, or at least in the beginning. Like, you want to learn everything about them. Why in the world would you bring up someone from your past?
Yeah. And going off of this, if they talk badly about their ex,
Yeah.
everyone knows the whole, if they say, oh, all my exes are crazy. No. All that they have in common is you, and that's a red flag that you're calling them that.
1000%.
Yeah, not
Ew.
it.
Or if they compare you to their ex, like, oh my gosh, my ex used to like order that, or like whatever.
Thankfully, no one has ever done that. If anyone ever did, my mouth would drop. I would have no idea what to say.
I would probably be like, yeah, it sounds like you're still really into your ex. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, why is she still in your mind?
Exactly. I don't like that. Okay, slamming drinks can't hold as alcohol.
Yeah. Well, there are a few reasons why this could happen. This could be nerves.
Yep.
This could be, oh, I like need to drink to have fun.
Yep.
Or like a low-key alcoholic.
Yeah, so I feel
All
like
three
this is
bad.
hard. Yes. So this is, I think, really hard for men that are transitioning out of college, because in college everybody just drinks, and then all of a sudden they're in the real world and they have to go on dates with people, not just take them back from a frat party or the bar.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, like, let's get fucked up or forked up. Let's get forked up. And that's just not attractive. You know, at some point it takes some longer than others, but eventually men are going to realize that that's not attractive anymore, and that you need to grow up and like have conversation, and it's not all about getting crazy.
Exactly. And also, like, when you, obviously there can be alcohol involved, but don't you want to know how you feel about someone without that kind of like shields? And like, obviously you get a little bit more excited if you're feeling yourself and you have a little alcohol in your system. I've literally walked away from dates or like experiences like, did I like them or was I just like a happy drunk, you know?
Yeah, that's so true. And this is not to say don't drink on the first date.
Yeah.
I think it's great to have a couple drinks.
Yeah.
You know, loosen it up, get rid of the
Also,
nerves.
it's really good to understand off the bat how someone is when they are drinking.
Yes.
Are they slamming drinks? Can they like hold their own? Are they nice? Do they kind of get aggressive? Like, you can tell a lot about a person kind of and how they handle their alcohol, because a lot of kind of what comes out is what's underlying too.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good point. Being timely. I'm looking at Courtney right now because Courtney's late to everything. However, you were
hiding.
You were on time today. You texted me
know.
10 minutes before you were supposed to be here, and you're like, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. You said 11, and I was like, okay, so Courtney will be here at 11:30. Yeah.
I know.
Courtney's a little late, but she's working on it.
Yeah, I am. And I let everyone know, hey, by the way, I will most likely be fashionably late.
Yeah. So this is not an attack at you, but I think if somebody that I'm going on a date with shows up late, it makes me feel like you don't care about my time.
Oh, 1,000%.
You're wasting my time.
Yeah, I definitely put a little bit more priority in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. And also kind of going with this, canceling plans last minute.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
Yeah, especially in the beginning stages, like you either really want to see me or you don't.
Yeah.
And I know things come up, and obviously like sometimes you do have to cancel, but if you're not immediately rescheduling or that person isn't reaching out to you to reschedule, no, you don't want to see them.
No,
Red flag.
for sure. Okay.
Also, I'm like shaking. I can't tell if I'm cold or if it's the coffee or
It's both.
a
I also
little bit of a
saw that.
hangover.
So some red flags from our write-ins. There's literally so many.
I know.
First one, he drinks milk.
Wait, who wrote that? Actually, no,
I have no
we'll
idea.
We'll keep it anonymous.
I drink milk, so therefore I am a red flag. Someone said picky eater.
Okay.
This is a controversial one, I think.
Yeah, because if you yourself are a picky eater, it might be nice to have someone that, you know, is fine with repeating the same good, reliable meals in restaurants. However, I think if you are a picky eater, it's also really nice to have someone that's going to push out your comfort zones.
Yeah.
Because I think being a picky eater, like, you're not going to be able to experience so many good restaurants or like food festivals or whatever that may be. And it's really nice to have somebody that's adventurous.
Exactly. Yeah. I think if you are a picky eater, it makes sense for you to be with a similar picky eater.
Yeah.
Similar, echoing kind of what you said. But like, I'm someone who loves to try like new things. So if I'm on a date and someone orders like chicken tenders, like that's just like, what
are you doing?
What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't like go to a place where there's like tapas and small plates and share a bunch of things. So like, it's not necessarily a red flag and like a end all be all,
Yeah.
but it is more fun when someone has like a similar opinion of like food and ways in which they like to try things as you.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. I kind of have a tip for our picky eaters out there. So I'm someone that never wants to be classified as a picky eater. I want to be able to like everything. So at all points of my life, I'm always working on forcing myself to like something. I've done this with tomatoes, avocados, tequila. Currently, I'm working on really liking gin and oysters. So everywhere I go that has an oyster, I order one. I order one oyster, and I'm just going to keep eating them until I like them, because I want to be able to participate when someone at the table is like, oh, like, let's get some oysters. And I want to, oh, I don't eat that.
Yeah, for sure. This one is hiding phone / being secretive.
This is an immediate red flag.
Yeah, immediate. There's no question about this one. It's like,
no.
what's going on over there, buddy?
Yeah. However, I don't think it's also kind of a red flag if someone's like, oh, like, here are my passwords to my phone. Like, go in whenever. Like,
yeah.
You don't want someone that's, like, overcompensating for that, because it's like, okay, what's your trauma?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Only hits your line late night.
This one I feel like is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning stages, if they don't want to like take you out and they're just calling, you're a booty call.
Yeah, totally. They should be wanting to hang out and date before you get to that point where you can just go over at night and it be chill.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you're not looking for a relationship and just want, you know, a sneaky link, I feel like you can still like go out and like grab a drink somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
of
we're
course.
mature now. Like let's go out. Don't text me after the bar and say where you at? Do you want to come over? No.
Yeah.
We can do better than that.
And final red flag for now is they have no friends. Some people don't have many friends for different reasons. Like maybe they just moved to a new city. There are different reasons why people have circles bigger or smaller. But it is important if they do have friends, or like friends are an easy way for you to tell kind of who someone is.
Yeah.
So honestly, if I'm starting to date someone, I like to see like who their roommates are, who their friends are as soon as possible, because if I don't vibe with them, odds are I'm probably not going to vibe with the person that I'm seeing, because your friends are a representation of yourself.
Definitely. I think you can learn a lot about a person based on their friends. So if they don't
Yes.
have many, that could potentially be a red flag. If you do not like how their friends act, well, they're spending so much time with them.
Yeah.
So maybe they're different, but like at some point, like they enjoy spending time with that person. So
Exactly.
definitely something to note.
Yes. And now moving on into green flags.
I feel like everyone talks about red flags, but never really talks about green flags.
Similar to how it's like easier to talk about like the negative things.
Yes.
Like if you're in a relationship and you're having problems, like that's what your friends hear about. They hear about you like venting and trying to like talk through any issues that you're having, as opposed to hearing all the amazing things about the person.
Yeah, that's so true.
So top one, motivated in life and career.
Yes, this is such a green flag. I mean, it's just so attractive to see that someone is working towards something and is driven, because they're going to put that on you. If somebody doesn't have a job or isn't really motivated about their job or doesn't really care, I don't know, if they're a little lazy, that's going to eventually, if you're spending a lot of time with that person, those qualities are going to wear off on you.
For sure. And just someone who's always working towards something. That's just so attractive to me.
So attractive, yeah.
Otherwise, if they're stagnant kind of in where they are, like you want to be comfortable with that place where they are in order to like grow something with them, in order to have a relationship with them. Like I feel like most people want to evolve and grow. Some people, not everybody, but if you are that person, you're not going to find yourself with someone who's just like very accepting of where they are.
Yeah, I agree.
Is down to take things slow.
So my red flag is that I take everything very fast. When I find somebody I like, I just go, I'm head over heels. Everyone else is just, I don't see them. I have tunnel vision on this person, and I'm like, let's spend our lives together. But yes, I think it's so good to take things slow.
Yeah.
Not rush into anything.
Yeah, I also fall victim to really just expediting the whole process, but that has gotten me into a lot of trouble.
Yes, me too.
So that's something that I'm trying to do and moving forward is just like slow and steady. Like the more slow you are going, the more you get to learn about the person before you're like obviously exclusive and like more tied down. And yeah, I think it's nice. I've also been in situations where people literally profess their love like in the first couple of experiences.
That's Courtney's red flag.
Yeah.
She loves people that love her and just like totally fall head over heels for her like immediately.
Yeah.
And that's just, I don't know. You want someone to really, really like you, but
of course. I just get caught up in like fantasy land, like hopeless romantic. Oh, like maybe this is my soulmate.
I do too.
Okay. Communicates their feelings.
This is really hard to find in a man specifically. Like, I'm honestly
Yeah.
jealous of girls who get to date other girls because they don't have to deal with men suppressing feelings. And I feel like women are a lot easier about opening up and communicating how they're feeling.
For sure. I feel like men have this idea, not to generalize, but in my own personal experiences, that like vulnerability is a weakness.
Vulnerability's hot.
It's a superpower.
Yes.
In my own experiences, when people that I'm talking to are more reserved, you reciprocate kind of what's put out there, or like the energy you put out there is what's reciprocated. So if someone's more reserved, I'm not going to feel open to being 100% myself. I'm going to be more reserved. And then it's hard to even like kind of get anywhere and grow if there is no communication of their feelings. Even if the feelings are that there are no feelings, like that's just something that's nice to know so that you can always kind of be on the same page and expectations are really out there so you can decide what you want to do with them. I've had friends that are like I don't know if he likes me, like I don't like I'm super into him, but like they're so unsure. And it's like no, if this person liked you and had feelings and like cared about you, you wouldn't question it.
No,
whatsoever.
you would know.
You would know. And that's something that doesn't even need to be verbally expressed. You would just know in their actions that they're into you.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, next one. Confidence, not cockiness.
Yeah.
It's a fine line.
It is.
This is my number one quality, practically. Something that attracts me is someone who knows how to command a room, but not in like an arrogant and like authoritative way, kind of, where it comes off like, oh, who is this guy? Like, why does he think he can do this and that? Like, it's definitely a fine line, but someone who's just very sure of himself, knows what he wants, is respectful, is just so attractive to me.
Yeah. Also, I think you can kind of tell the line between confidence and cockiness if they're willing to like work on themselves and doesn't take it as an offense.
Yeah, like as a dig.
Yeah, they don't get defensive.
Yes.
Like they love who they are, but they also know that they're working on themselves and there's a better version of them coming. So like they're open to that feedback.
Absolutely. And we're going to have a whole episode on confidence too.
Yes.
That can be applied to whoever you are, just because it really is so important in every aspect of your life. Talks about energy and mindset and has a growth and abundance mindset.
Okay, I feel like this is something you really look for in a person.
Yeah. But it's also just kind of a representation of myself.
Yeah.
If I'm someone who is extremely positive and I have this belief that everything happens for a reason and people are put in your life for a reason, and I am constantly trying to grow and evolve myself, I 1000% want someone that's doing the same, so that we can kind of do that together. So that's definitely my green flag, is someone who's just trying to better themselves. This was a good one. Gives you affection in your love language.
Yes, I love talking about the love languages. So for those that don't know, there are 5 love languages. It's words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time. What are the other ones?
Gift giving,
and acts of service.
Yes.
What are yours?
My top is number 1, quality time. Number 2, physical touch. Number 3, words of affirmation.
So she has all of that.
And I don't really care for the rest.
Okay.
But no, that's like in chronological order, like how
Okay.
I kind of value them.
Okay.
What
Mine
are yours?
are acts of service and physical touch. I love when if somebody makes a bed for me, I'm like, oh my God, I am in love. That is so nice of you.
Yes.
If they're wiping down the counters after I cook dinner and like they're gonna do the dishes after I clean or after I cooked,
Yeah.
so attractive. Like,
Yeah.
thank you. If I have a bunch of bags in my hands and they just automatically grab those for me. And it's just making my life a little bit easier in the most simple ways.
Yeah.
Love.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah. And then physical, I'm just a very touchy person. Like, I will always have my hand being held. If we're sitting on the couch and your hand's not on my knee, I'm upset. I'm like, do you hate me? What is going on?
You're the worst.
I am. I'm literally so clingy. But, you know, there's people out there that when you tell them what your love languages are and they reciprocate it in the ways that you need, like, that's so nice.
Yeah. And I'd also like to call out that this isn't something that's very immediate. Like, sometimes your love languages are very obvious, but it's hard. You can't assume that people are just going to know what you want. So I think these love languages will come out in some form of communication a little bit later down into the line, or maybe right at the beginning if that's how you feel about the person and you feel very open to communicating that. I'm sure the sooner it comes out, the better it would be for the relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely never assume that someone knows, because everyone has a completely different love language. But if someone, like, if whoever you're with has a different love language than you, but still tries to accommodate to your love language, that just shows how devoted they are and how much they really care for you.
I agree. I highly recommend anyone that's in a relationship to constantly be talking about your love languages and have that open line of communication, because they can change. You can need different things at different times.
Exactly. I like this one. Willingness to try new places, foods, and experiences.
This kind of goes off of the picky eater one. Like, if you're a picky eater, it's so nice when someone is like, oh, we haven't been here. Like, let's go try this new spot. And they take that initiative and they're excited about it.
Yeah. Also, like, the surprise and delight factor as well.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing better than someone texting or calling you and being like, all right, be ready at 7 o'clock.
Oh my God.
I'm taking you somewhere, or like dress in this kind of way. And then them just surprising you. And if it's somewhere that's new and somewhere that you haven't tried before, like, that's just so exciting. That keeps everything kind of spontaneous and exciting.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Inquisitive about your life, which is something that we talked about in the red flag. Like, if they're not asking you questions, that's not cute. But like, a green flag remembers like little things that you've said throughout conversations and like checks in on the details.
Yeah, that's huge.
There's nothing more like validating and just comforting when someone kind of refers back to something you said like 3 dates ago or like a month ago, saying like, oh my gosh, didn't you have this going on? Like, how was this? How did this turn out? Or like remembering like a small detail, like your favorite color or something. It's like, oh my gosh, like you were really listening. Like it's all in the little things.
Yeah, it is. And this happened to me. I met one of Joe's friends the other day, or I saw him again after meeting him so briefly at the bar. And I mentioned one thing that I didn't even realize I mentioned, and he brought it up immediately the next. He's like, oh, like, how did this go? Like, that you were telling me about. And I was like, wow, I fully thought we were just having small talk and you wouldn't even recognize me if you saw me on the street. And I was like, you're such a good listener. I was like, wow, that's such a good quality to have.
For sure.
I need to learn to be a better listener. That
Me
goes
too,
with my memory.
honestly. Has sisters and or a good relationship with the woman in his life?
Yes. I think whenever a man has women in his life, specifically sisters, well, I think of like you and Gab who have brothers, and I'm like, those boys know how to treat a girl because they have you guys as older sisters being like, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable.
Yeah, for sure. But obviously you can't control whether or not you have sisters. But if you have a good relationship with your mom or an aunt, or like you have best girl friends that are very similar to like that sisterly relationship, that's super special. Okay, this one may or may not be debatable.
Okay, I like the debatable ones.
Wakes up at like 5 a.m. and like
This
goes
is
to the
Courtney's.
gym. Yeah, I
This
did
is
write
Cour-
this in. I did write this in. This is so hot. Someone who like works on himself. I need someone who's into fitness because I'm into fitness. This is not something that's probably common for every single person.
Yeah.
But once again, someone trying to better themselves, someone trying to live a healthy lifestyle, someone who does something outside of their 9-to-5 job, and waking up and having a structure, like no matter what it is, it doesn't need to be a 5 a.m. gym session. It could be just like putting energy into something else and growing something else that transfers into other areas of their lives.
Yeah.
So if they're like consistent and devoted to this thing that they do, they can then translate that into your relationship with you.
Yeah. No, I dated a guy a couple years ago, and the number one thing that drew me to him was that he woke up at 5 a.m. every single day and went to the gym.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so inspiring. Like, you're inspiring
Yeah.
me to be a better person, and like
Yeah.
you're so motivated, and I was like, that's just a great quality to have.
Yes.
So
It doesn't need to be 5 a.m. in the gym specifically.
no.
But I did write that in.
Well, I just feel like, imagine if you have a partner that you can go to the gym with at 5 a.m. and you guys can motivate each other to like get out there. That's so nice for you.
Yes, for sure. Getting along with your friends and family.
Yes, this is so
Duh.
important. Oh my God.
Duh.
But it's so hard sometimes when you're in a relationship or like you're dating somebody and your friends meet them and they can very clearly see that it's not a good match. But when you're in it, it's like, what do you mean? Like, the red flags are just so hard to see.
Yeah.
But if your friends and family genuinely like the person, they know you and they know who would be a good match for you.
Yeah. And on the flip side, I've had friends and family dislike people that I brought around.
Yeah.
And then it ended up in shambles
As
and they
it
were right the
always
whole
does.
time.
As it always does.
Literally. Your friends and family aren't blinded by the love and by just like the butterflies and all the gooey stuff that you get really excited about in the beginning.
And sometimes it stings, but if you can have that as you're dating and like maybe you go on a couple dates and you finally want to introduce them to your friends, if your friends say anything and hopefully you have honest friends,
Yeah.
it's going to sting a little bit, but just try to remember that you should
Yeah.
really listen to them.
You know the relationship better than they would, obviously, because you're actually in it. But it is just nice to have like a third party opinion. Even if you don't necessarily listen to what they say or like whatever, just like having some sort of kind of whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm a little slow from the alcohol
I
that's
know, I
still
really
in my
feel-
body.
I feel like I'm in a fog right now.
Yeah, my brain is all jumbled up.
Oh, if he flosses, this is a green flag. Mostly just because I've had horrible experiences with dental hygiene before. Yeah, very icky. So if somebody flosses, it's so hard to floss every day. I go on like spurts of trying to floss
Yeah.
and I feel like my best self. But if somebody flosses, that's so, if you found someone that flosses regularly, let us know. But that's the ultimate green flag.
Literally. You can be yourself around them on day one.
Yeah, this is a really good one. And which is hard to do.
Yeah.
So this green flag isn't like, oh, if I can't do this, he's an immediate write-off. This is, yeah, I do also want to clarify, like, green flags aren't necessary all the time. Like, you don't need to have all these green flags.
Yeah.
But, like, if they have them, it, like, bumps them up. Like, that's a good sign.
Totally.
So this is hard to find. And if you find someone that you can truly just open up and be yourself with on the first date, that's so special. And
yeah, that's very
rare.
rare. Very rare.
Jinx.
Actually. Also, just kind of in the essence of like these points that we're making, both in red and green flags, it's kind of making me think of check boxes.
Yeah.
And like, this may not be the right way to go about it, but what I find myself doing is I obviously have qualities and traits that I'd love to find in a significant other. But I also fall victim to kind of after a date or after first experiences, like, do they check all my boxes? And it's like, not everyone is going to check every single box. And something that one of my really great friends and mentors has shared with me, who is married now and just like has an extremely healthy relationship told me this one time, and it's just always stuck. It's the person that you're going to end up with, or someone that you really, really are supposed to be with. They're going to have boxes that you didn't even know you had for yourself.
Yeah.
And so when you start to kind of think of, do they check all my boxes? It's like, wait, you shouldn't even be thinking about that. Like, it should just come so naturally that you don't even have to question whether or not they're fulfilling all of your requirements. And then when you meet that person, you're going to have boxes you didn't even know existed, and they're going to fill these voids that it's like, oh my goodness, this is just exactly what I wanted and more.
Definitely. And I think it's hard because a lot of people will get so sick of the dating scene, and then they're like, you know what, I'm just going to wait until the absolute perfect person, and if one box isn't checked, they just write it off. And that's just not a way to live your life.
No, not at all. But you're going to feel it when it's right, and you're going to feel it when it's wrong. And it's just, it's up to you if you want to listen to your gut or not.
Yeah. I will say, kind of going off of the boxes, the check boxes, I think it is important to have like maybe your top 3 non-negotiables.
For sure.
Like, sit down and figure out what you're actually looking for in somebody, and like those are non-negotiables, like your top 3 things.
Absolutely. And also I've been in situations where people have literally checked every single box. It's like on paper, it's like they're the perfect person, the perfect partner, and then it's like, wait, why do I still not have this chemistry that I thought I would have? Or like, why am I not feeling the way that I thought I would feel with someone who really does check apparently all my boxes?
Yeah, for
chemistry is everything.
Yeah. And I think it's so good to find someone that compliments you.
Yeah.
A lot of the time you're looking for somebody that is very similar to you in so many ways, but from what I've learned from my relationship currently is like, it's so nice to have somebody that excels in areas that you don't. And that wasn't even something I was looking for.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I needed that, but I did need kind of my opposite person in some aspects of my life. Yeah. And it's made my life so much better.
And so much more interesting.
Yes. Oh, I like this one. Taking an active effort to embrace each other's passions. Like having someone support you.
Yeah.
I'm like relating this to us right now. Let's say we were in relationships and our partners were like, we brought up this podcast idea and they were like, oh my God, no, like that's silly. Like, don't do that. Yeah. You guys can't do a podcast. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. Like, you want someone that is your cheerleader and that's going to support these passion projects and doesn't think it's silly.
Yeah. And that goes beyond dating. If anyone in my life said that to me, I'd be like, get out. Get out.
Yeah.
Literally get out.
I know. But then it's so hard because let's say you're with someone for a while and you really respect their opinion.
Yeah.
And then you bring something up and it's like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, they know me. Like, they know me pretty well. If they say no, they're probably right.
Yeah. That's a scary thought, honestly. Yeah. Because then they can discourage you from doing things that you really have your heart set on.
We can't miss these. Love bombing. No. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I feel like everybody talks about love bombing, but like, yeah, that's a major red flag. Gaslighting, clearly.
I don't know the definition of these words that you're saying right now.
You don't?
No.
Love bombing?
Yeah. We can't assume that our listeners know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, this is strictly just because I only listen to podcasts all the time.
Very
so
true.
I think whenever they talk about narcissism and narcissists, like love bombing is the number one thing. So like when you meet someone and they're talking about the future and they're getting you gifts and they're taking you to, they're whining and dining you, and like you just met them last week but they want you to go to Cabo with them, and it's like, wow, this person's giving me everything in their life, and like they're talking about the future so early on and they're just showering you in all of these things.
Why does that sound like my ideal situation?
See, well, that's a hard thing. Like it's so hard to know.
No. If it's all at once, that's like disingenuine.
Yeah.
Is that a word? What is my brain right now?
Disingenuine? Yeah.
Disingenuous?
Sounds right.
Whatever.
Lord, no. You could say any word and I'd be like, yeah, for sure. That's a word.
We love a supporter.
On my story today, you posted that you were bringing us coffees, and on, and then I like reposted it, and I was like, my savior. Immediately after I posted it, I went to Google and I was like, definition of savior. And it was what I thought. But sometimes I just second guess myself. I second guess myself with everything, especially with names. Like if I meet someone and for some reason my mind is like, their name's not Matt. Why are you about to call them Matt? Don't say their name. Don't say their name. You're totally going to get it wrong and it's going to be so embarrassing. Their name is in fact Matt. And I don't know why I do that.
I'll never forget. I was meeting some coworkers for the first time like a few months ago for like I met them obviously over Zoom but in person. And I was so forking confident of this girl's name. And I was like, hi, Angela. Her name was forking Natalie.
Oh, no.
I was like,
that's my biggest fear.
She didn't say anything. But the second it came out of my mouth, I knew it wasn't her name. And that just like,
that sucks. That really sucks.
It stinks.
Yeah.
Names are hard.
Names are really hard. Yeah. It's like the most simple problem to have.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Names are so hard.
Okay. So do you understand what love bombing is?
Yes.
It's like all these things and then you fall in love with them because they just want you to love them and then they just kind of like shut off.
And they just want to show off with all the things and fun opportunities they have for you.
Yeah. They basically just want you to think that they're such an amazing person.
Yeah.
And then fall head over heels.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like an extreme way or like an extreme like all the things that you listed, but it could be as simple as like come to my table at the Grand. Like this, that, like, oh, like I'll get you this, I'll get you that. It's like, ew. Yeah. Who are you trying to impress?
That's icky to me.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah. But also, to simplify that even more, it could also just be someone that's texting you paragraphs about how all the things that they love about you and why am I literally describing?
Oh God. She's literally describing things that attract me.
Yeah.
But like I know
we should get a therapist on here and I want them to like unpack us. Be like, these are all the things that are red flags about us.
We're each other's therapists.
We are. This is so therapeutic.
It is.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, now I sound like a crazy person. Guys, I swear I'm not.
Are you sure?
No, I do. I think I'm just a hopeless romantic. So I have fallen in the past for people who just like are head over heels super early on. And I'm also kind of head over heels.
Me too.
I tend to jump into things, or in the past, I jumped into a few different things that I probably should not have so soon. But learning experiences, I do know now that is not something that should excite me. It's more of a red flag than a green flag. But it's also so easy to fall into traps like that because if you are feeling similarly, then it's exciting when someone's like very outward about how they feel towards you.
Well, yeah, it makes you feel good, of course.
Also, the way that like social media and just like TV and things that you see online are so like fantasized. It is exciting when you think like, oh my gosh, should I just find like the love of my life?
Yeah. Okay. Gaslighting. Do you know the definition of that one?
Nope.
Courtney, where have you been? Are you living under a rock?
Sometimes.
I'm confused. Gaslighting? I'm trying to think of an example. I didn't really like that you spilled coffee on my wet grass rug. And you would be like, well, you put this rug here. Like, I can't even believe you would bring this up because last week you did this X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, this is actually your fault for putting this rug here. And, like, you told me to go get coffee. Like, what else do you expect from me? Yeah. That was a horrible example.
No, I totally get it. It's just like them turning the situation and blaming you when it was actually something that they did.
Exactly.
That I feel like everyone's experienced that if they've been in a relationship that was somewhat toxic. Like, I think that's like the number one thing that people do.
Yeah. So that's an obvious one. Lack of dinner table etiquette. This is funny because I feel like I don't have dinner table.
I prefer to eat with my hands.
Yeah.
I really do.
I also came from a family where like my dad would eat out of the salad bowl once everybody had like so.
Well, I will never forget. I went over one of my friends' houses for dinner back in high school, and I was sitting down with this family, and they watched me use a fork and knife, and they just started dying of laughter. And I was like, "What is happening? Like, what's going on?
Oh my God.
And they're like, can you like cut that piece of chicken again? And I was like, sure. And they were just like, okay, so the fork goes in this hand, the knife goes in this hand. I was like, I'm 17 years old and I'm learning this for the first time. That's not cute.
It's just, for me, I'm like, why do you care how I hold my fork and knife?
Yeah.
I'm not chewing with my mouth open and
Yeah.
slamming my fists on the table, you know?
Yeah, I think it's more so if someone's like sloppy and like gross as they're eating,
Yeah.
not necessarily the etiquette, because it's like, you do you, boo.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, you and I are both fast eaters.
Oh my God.
Like
That's one of our
I
red
forget to
flags.
chew /
Me
breathe,
too.
and all of a sudden my food is gone.
Yeah. So a fun fact about me is I don't like to talk when I eat. If the food comes on the table, we're not talking until it's over. And that was something
That's
I
not
really
good
had to
for
figure
dating.
out, yeah, when I was dating. Because I'm not used to like taking a bite and then like having a sip of water and having conversation.
I'm gonna throw in a green flag.
Okay, perfect.
When someone like opens the door for you on a first date, I've actually been in situations where like someone is picking me up, and it doesn't need to be this grand gesture of them getting out of their car and like opening the door, because to be honest, that's just such a force. But like this one person every time reaches over and like opens the passenger door from the inside of the car before I
yeah.
get in.
I like that.
And it's just like so simple, but it's just like, oh, that was so nice. Like more traditional.
Yep.
But it's just the little things that it's like, oh my gosh, he didn't have to do that, but he did. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm going to give a shout out to Joe because on our first date, he picked me up, which don't have someone pick you up on a first date, especially if you meet on a dating app.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Joe and I met on Hinge, but yeah, meet them somewhere. But beside the fact, I didn't listen to that advice, and he picked me up, and I walked down out of my building, and he's waiting for me outside of the door. Like
That's
parked
so
his
nice.
car
That
and
is so
walked to the
nice.
door, and I just remember our doors are like glass, and I was walking out, and he had the biggest smile, like so excited to see me, and that
Aw.
memory is just ingrained in my head, and I was like, oh, I didn't even want to go on the date. And immediately I saw him and I was like, oh my God, that was the cutest thing anyone's ever done. Like looking so genuinely excited to see me and meeting me at the door.
That's amazing.
And it's so easy.
Yeah. Also, on the same topic, meeting someone from a dating app that you've never met before at a restaurant, for example. I've had someone like, text, like I was arriving a couple minutes later and he was like, text me right before you get here and like I'll meet you outside. So then he like
Yep.
walks in together
So
and like
nice.
he'll open the door, and it's just like, that's so comforting, because think about it, if like you don't want to walk in by yourself and like not know where the person is and like where to
Yeah.
go. Like so simple, and maybe that's like a common thing, but I just thought that was like a standout little gesture.
Yep, 100%. I love that. Let's see. I think someone that prefers to call and FaceTime over texting is a green flag.
Yeah.
But I think that's a hot take. I think that could be a red flag for some people as well. But I really appreciate when someone like wants to hear my voice, and it's so
Yeah.
much more personal. Like I don't need to know what you had for lunch. Hey, how's your day? What are you eating? Where'd you go to
Yeah,
lunch?
we
I
don't need the
care.
small talk.
No, like call me and like tell me all about your day later.
Yeah.
I think that's nice.
I like that. But then that's one thing that's not necessarily like the first thing that happens when you start dating someone. It's more so when you get comfortable with the person.
Yeah. But also, how awesome would, I don't know, personally, I would like this. If I just met someone and we started talking
Yeah.
and he like called me, I'd be so nervous.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my God, why is he calling
Yeah.
me? But imagine you get on the phone call and you just have amazing conversation.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just like leave for the night. You don't really text. And it's
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm excited for our date.
Soph is just telling me, Soph is my roommate, that she met someone and she's like, she started dating them. They only went on a couple dates, and then she went on vacation to the British Virgin Islands a couple weeks ago. And she was obviously super busy, like enjoying her time. and he sent her a Google Calendar invite for a FaceTime at 8:30, saying like, see you at 8:30 on FaceTime or whatever.
That.
So he didn't want to bother her throughout like the vacay or whatever. And she was just like, oh my God. And she's like a Google Calendar like fiend. Like she's loves that. And I don't even know if he knew that, probably. But it was just so cute. It's like, I don't want to like burden you or like and take up too much of your time, but I'm thinking about you and I'd love to FaceTime for a little bit. And with that, should we get into focuses of the week?
Yes, I really need to start planning out my focus of the week before.
Okay, I can share mine.
Yeah, you go first.
I want to finish a book that I started like 2 months ago that I just haven't.
The Habits one?
Yeah, Atomic Habits. I just think it's going to help me personally with this podcast and other things that I have going on in my life, and it's very productivity focused. So less screen time if possible. It's very hard because I now have 3 Instagrams that I'm trying to manage, but less screen time and more head in the book.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And taking myself on that date that I didn't do this past week.
Yeah, can you do that? I was looking forward to
Yeah, I don't have any
it.
plans this upcoming week, so I'm very excited I have the opportunity to do that.
That'll be really nice. So I leave for Mardi Gras, New Orleans.
Scared.
Going to New Orleans.
I'm terrified. I can't believe I'm not going with you.
I know. You really should have pulled the trigger. And
I know, but I have too much going on in my life right now.
Yeah, you really do. You've been traveling everywhere, but yeah, so I leave on Saturday and I need to pack. I ordered so many clothes from Pretty Little Thing. They're so ugly. They're so unbelievably ugly.
I need a fashion show after this.
Oh my God, I'm going to show you. I have this jumpsuit that I ordered and it's like tight leggings. Think like tight leggings, but then it's like attached to a bodysuit and it comes up as a halter and it's green and it looked so good online. I was like, oh, like this is fun, like Mardi Gras green.
Yeah.
And it's like snakeskin and I fully look like it's a costume. Like I'm trying to be a snake for Halloween. It is so ugly.
But I feel like that's Mardi Gras vibes. Like people,
but it's just not
people
cute.
dress in the craziest stuff.
So I need to pack and like figure out what I'm wearing because when I go on vacation and I'm organized and I know my set outfits, it takes so much stress away.
Wait, do you know of this tip I learned from an influencer? When you're packing, take photos of the outfits that you put together and put them into a folder so that it just kind of takes the stress out kind of when you're there. I know you can like pack things together, but it's nice to just have like, rather than you like trying things on when you're like about to go out somewhere, you just flip through your phone like, okay, which outfit do I wear to this type of event?
Yeah, no, that's smart. I'll do that this week.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear about Mardi Gras.
Oh,
and we need to expedite the recording of episode 4.
Unfortunately, I think we'll record 4 before I leave. So expect episode 5 to have Mardi Gras content.
Yeah, same.
Also, after Mardi Gras, I'm going to be back in the office 3 days a week. I know. So that'll be kind of tea to talk about, like how that's going, transitioning like into a hybrid model.
Oof.
I know.
Couldn't be me.
RIP.
Okay, well, thank you all for listening to episode 3. I hope you learned a little something. Once again, this is pertaining to Ashley and I's experiences and our own likes and dislikes. So I can already foresee some things that we said in this episode as being like hot takes or controversial. But this is just kind of where we see red and green flags.
Yeah. Again, this podcast is Courtney and I's podcast, so obviously we're going to talk about our perspective. So feel free to agree, feel free to disagree, and specifically to this one, this is from like our street perspective.
Yeah.
Of a dating scene.
So feel free to rate us 5 stars if you are so kind. To follow us on You Can Do Both Pod. It's Court Carlton, double T. Oh wait, it's Court Carlton. No, I literally just said I combined our Instagrams.
Well,
I guess like it's at Court Carlton.
Yeah.
And Ashley's is it's Ashley Paul.
Yeah,
quite literally.
ITS. Yeah, my coworkers are like information technology services. When I say
Nerd.
ITS. Yeah.
That's
nerdy
funny.
jokes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you all so much. We love you. We appreciate you. Can't wait for the next episode.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.